This is the Moza KS wheel, the newest sim racing wheel from Moza Racing. As we've come to expect from Moza Racing, this one is feature-packed and value-packed. So we'll get into exactly what's included with the KS wheel and what makes it special in this review. Alright, so unboxed and ready to go here, we have this KS wheel, and I have to admit, it's been out of the box for quite a while. I've had this for about a month now and been given the chance to review it, get to know it. It's hard because I was trying to record content, but of course I can't show my wheel cam when I'm using this. But I have spent a lot of hours with this, and yeah, I got a good sense of what it's about. So let's talk a little bit about it. Styling wise, as you can see, it has a lot in common with the, I guess it's the 488 GT3 wheel. I would also say the Williams F1 wheel, 2017 till now, has a lot in common with this. Kind of dog bone shaped is the best way I would describe it. It's got rubber grips out here. If we flip it around, it does have dual analog clutch paddles here. And then we have magnetic shifters out back. All of these buttons up front here, the ones that appear gray on your screen right now, those are all illuminated, so you can change the colors of those. You can customize that just by pressing a few buttons on the wheel itself. And then we've got these 3 dials here at the bottom, and then these 2 rotary knobs. Oh, and 2 rotary dials up top. And yeah, just a really nice feature-packed wheel, as we've come to expect from Moza Racing. You know, at 280 bucks, this is a really smoking deal and is compatible with most of their wheelbases. I would say the dials feel better than I have experienced on previous Moza wheels, and these rotary dials up here, up at the top, feel really solid as well. So a lot of great value here. If we flip it around, it does have the famous, or not quite famous enough, Moza Racing quick release, which I absolutely love. You slide this on, it clicks, wireless connectivity, and you're good to go. Up top here, carbon fiber or plastic made to look like carbon fiber. I'm not sure. I'm quite certain it's the latter. But either way, nice styling here. And then, yeah, again, those rubber grips on the outside. So ergonomically, quite good here. And yeah, just overall very value packed. Oh, and it has a lighted tachometer bar across the top here that's going to tell you when to shift. So just a huge amount of features. And then for 280 bucks, I mean, yeah, this is really something. Again, those magnetic shifters, analog paddles, and all these illuminated buttons and rotary dials, knobs. I mean, there's a lot here, and Moza Racing appears to once again have done a great job. So what we'll do is we'll go into the software quickly, the Pit House software that is, and get this all configured, and then I will do a drive and talk about how it feels, and then we'll come back to the table and I'll tell you about the good, neutral, and bad of the Moza Racing KS wheel. All right, so here we are in the Pit House software. As you can see, I have my KS steering wheel attached, and if I press any of the buttons, sorry, I know you can't see it very well, but if you look in the lower right hand corner of your screen, you can see me there, and press the button and it flashes yellow in the software. So that works for both paddles. I have my analog clutches that I can use individually. Any of these buttons that I press, you can see them lighting up on the screen there. And rotary dials, you can see that we can set that up, and I've got the knobs all set up. And is that it? Oh yeah, these dials, you can see that it's all set up. So if I go into the wheel section here, the clutch paddles mode, there's different modes depending on how you want the clutch to release. You can set bite points and use that for quick launches. The band knob mode, I believe if you set this to button, then you can see as I rotate this dial that they come through as individual buttons. So if you want to have traction control level 8 mapped, then you know, to number 8 on this dial, you can do that, or you can switch to knob and then it just goes up or down. So very cool customization options there. Stick mode, I've never found a use for this really, but basically this is what it looks like in button mode. This is what it looks like in D-pad mode. Looks eerily similar, doesn't it? You can turn the engine RPM indicator off if you wish. I like to leave mine on. You can set the timing. I use normal. Early would be the only other one I would consider. and then we can set custom profiles. Like right now, you know, as I'm getting higher in the revs, it's going green, then yellow, then red is usually my shift point, and then blue is like you're kind of getting to over rev. So you can set those, you can just drag and drop a color, and you can set those up custom to your liking. Whoops. You can set those up how you like. That would be kind of weird, but yeah, just anyway, you can choose to set that how you want. And then the brightness on the wheel, again, you guys can't see that. It's in the lower right hand corner there, but yeah, that's way too bright. So I've got mine set to 50. It looks more realistic. It's a bit too eye-catching at 100% brightness, so I like to set it at around 50. But yeah, that's the basic setup in the Moza Pithouse software. Now let's go for a drive. All right, so we're here in Assetto Corsa. As you can see, a lot in common there between the 488 GT3 wheel. I'm in the GT3 Evo, and this Moza KS wheel. I've got brake bias mapped there. You can see me rotating that. Let's see, what else do I have mapped? Traction control, ABS, and I don't think the rest of the buttons do anything, but trust me, they are buttons. They do what they need to do. All right, so let's just drive a few laps here. We'll get a feel for the Moza KS wheel. So these shift paddles, it probably won't come through very well in the video, but they have a much softer feel, not imprecise to be clear, but they do have a softer feel than the FSR or GS wheels, so it comes through a lot quieter. So if noise is at all a concern for you, these might be the preferred shift paddles. Whoops, a little visual glitch there at the center of the screen. Not sure what's going on, but that's fine. Whoa. And yeah, just a really nice feeling wheel. I've got it mounted to my R12, and you know, it's a really, really sharp combo. I normally run my FSR with this R12 wheelbase, but yeah, this time I'm running the KS wheel, and of course, they are interchangeable. You can hot swap them. No flex to be perceived there. I don't know, maybe you guys can see some flex, but it sure doesn't feel like there's flex. A nice solid, you know, shaft and quick release system there, so no concerns. Ergonomically, how does the wheel feel in my hand? It feels pretty good. Not in love with the rubber grips as opposed to, you know, an Alcantara or a leather grip, but at the same time, not uncomfortable by any means, and just overall good feel. I could use with a little bit more paddle width here. It does feel like it doesn't feel like I have to reach, but it feels like if I had much smaller hands that I might have to reach. But yeah, overall pretty good, and I can reach those clutch paddles no problem as well. So yeah, just very good impressions. It's hard to really sell a wheel or talk about a wheel, you know, just by driving it. You kind of have to experience it, but I will say there's nothing, you know, in terms of ergonomics or in terms of comfort or in terms of, you know, feel of the wheel. It's all there. It's all good. There's no issues to report on any of those fronts. Very well built, well manufactured wheel overall. Good ergonomics, nice and comfortable, and visually looks good too. So yeah, no complaints about the KS wheel whatsoever. I think they've done a really nice job with this one, and you know, very race car inspired. Obviously, you're looking at you know, something like this 488 GT3 Evo or something like the Williams F1 car for inspiration, kind of that dog bone style. So very cool. Nicely done to Moza Racing. All right, let's get back to the table and we'll wrap this video up. All right, so time to go through the good, neutral, and bad, things I like, things I'm okay with, and things I don't like about the Moza Racing KS wheel. And the first thing I want to talk about is the style. In the good category, I love the looks of this thing. I mean, it doesn't quite catch the eye like the FSR wheel, but I think, you know, in the sub $300 wheel market, I don't think there's anything that looks this good. I think it's fantastic, and there's so many bells and whistles and features. I think it's really, really great. And yeah, great styling overall, and a nice looking wheel. Again, sort of looks like the 488 GT3 wheel or the Williams F1 wheel. So nicely done to Moza. And the second thing I want to talk about is the materials and build quality of the Moza Racing KS wheel. I think it's very, very good. It feels like they have stepped up their quality, I would say, versus the GS wheel or FSR wheel. Both of those are fantastic, don't get me wrong. But it just feels like there's kind of a higher level here. Everything kind of feels more solid, and you know, the weight of these buttons is a lot better. And you know, there's not even a bit of flex in this thing whatsoever, and just overall a very well-built wheel. So it does feel like they've kind of stepped up the overall quality a bit, and you know, the materials used are nice overall. So well done to Moza. And you can't talk about Moza Racing without talking about price. 280 bucks for this wheel. I think it's probably, not directly, but it's kind of aimed toward those who would have the McLaren GT3 V2 wheel from Fanatec. That comes in at $200, so significantly cheaper, but you don't have nearly as many bells and whistles, like, you know, these magnetic shifters and the analog paddles behind, and, you know, the lighted buttons, and there's a few other features which, you know, help differentiate it. So I think it's kind of targeting that market, and I think at sub $300, you won't find this many features in any wheel, so definitely value is a big part of the appeal of this KS wheel. And of course, in the good category, the quick release, it's phenomenal. I won't spend a lot of time, I talk about this every video, but what a concept. You slide this onto your wheelbase, it clicks, you go. It doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need levers throwing over the top. You don't need, you know, thumb releases. You just need something that clicks on. Why not take inspiration from real world cars? And that's what Moza has done. It just works. It's fantastic. It's wireless. Great job. And then we have to talk about what's behind this wheel. The shifter weight. The shifter weight is very good. It's different. It's a lot smoother, quieter. It's kind of dampened compared to what I have on my GS wheel. It makes it quieter, but overall the weight is very, very good. And then the analog clutch paddle weight is also very, very good. And yeah, just overall the sort of supporting buttons slash axes behind the wheel also feel very, very nice. And then of course we have this lighted tachometer bar up here. That's certainly not something unique to Moza. Most wheels have some level of tachometer these days, or tachometer bar. But what makes this one special is it's very, very bright. In fact, you might have to turn it down in your software to make things look a little more, I don't know, harsh, or look less harsh on the eyes. But overall, Moza has done a great job, and I like their tachometer bar. And we should also talk about the rotary dials up top here. Feeling good. It's nice to just have that thumb operation there. They're pre-marked for differential and brake balance, but you can make it anything you want. If you want to turn up your MGUK delivery here, turn up or down your MGUK recovery here, you can do whatever you want. Those rotary dials are nicely done and have a very, very good feel to them. Just the same as the buttons, you know, have a nice heavy feel to them, and everything feels very, very good. Very, very good. Very solid feeling wheel. When we talk about the pit house software, I gave you guys a quick demo of that. There's not a huge amount of customization that can be done in the pit house software, but it is a good supporting software and allows you to, you know, upgrade as necessary, allows you to register with a single click, and, you know, customize a few of the options. Actually, you can't customize the button color excuse me, you can't customize the button color in the software. You have to do it on the wheel, which stinks. But yeah, there are a few tuning options in the pit house software, and overall the pit house software is a very good piece of software. And of course, we talk about the supporting wheelbases. Everything from the R21 to the R5 seem to work for me. I believe this pin configuration on the back of it has a vertical and a horizontal strip. I believe that means it is compatible with most Moza wheelbases. So it's great to know that, you know, whether you're, you know, up at the top of the line running the R21 and, you know, want a different wheel, you can get this. Or if you're down at the R5 and want to upgrade the ES wheel that comes with it, perhaps, you can get this for 280 bucks, and it's going to be compatible. And the last thing in the good is the overall comfort. Feels good. I've driven with it for, you know, hours on end, and feels like a nice wheel overall. Yeah, no issues with comfort or ergonomics. Seems like it's nicely designed, even for big hands like mine. So well done to Moza for just designing an overall good wheel. And moving now into the neutral things I'm just kind of okay with. I would say, you know, just coming off saying that the ergonomics are good, I would say the paddles could be just like a few millimeters larger. I don't find myself reaching. You can see, like, this is my normal grip and I can get plenty of finger on there, but it feels like my fingers should be about here. So it would be nice if either the paddles were set out wider or they were a bit longer. I just feel like if you had small hands, like for me it's not an issue, but I feel like if you had small hands, you might be kind of over toward the edge a bit. I don't know, I don't have any small hands to test with, but they're all God gave me, unfortunately. But Yeah, it just feels like they could be a little bit wider. Nothing of major concern, but I just have a feeling if you had small hands, you might find yourself slightly reaching, but I don't know for certain. So I'll just put it in the neutral category for now to just say that, you know, if you have small hands, just fair warning that it might feel a little bit awkward. And also in the neutral category, these rubber grips, they're just kind of okay. By comparison to the rest of the wheel, you know, do I want Alcantara or leather? Yes, of course. Is it going to drive the price up in kind? Yes. So you got to be, you know, careful with your words. So I'm not saying they have to have those materials, but the rubber just feels slightly out of place on something that's so feature rich. So that's just kind of my feelings about the rubber grips. And moving now into the bad category, things I don't like. There isn't much, quite frankly, but the couple things I will say, these buttons here, as nice as it is to have lighted buttons, they should come with caps. Unfortunately, they come with stickers. And what invariably happens with stickers when you put them on buttons, well, you don't put them on perfectly and it's slightly twisted, or, you know, you put them on, they start to peel over time, or whatever. It would be nice if this shipped with caps instead of stickers. So yeah, just kind of unfortunate, but you are stuck with stickers. And speaking of caps, let's flip this bad boy around. Exposed pins. Exposed pins are dangerous. If you've ever bent a pin on basically any electronic device, you know how painful that is. There are potentially ways to fix it, but if you snap a pin, that's it. And I just wish, because this ships with a sticker covering this so it doesn't get dust on it or any sort of you know, minor mechanical damage, it would be nice if Moza just shipped a plastic cap that could slide over there for when you swap this out, put it into storage. Maybe you're moving, maybe you have guests coming over and you want to put this in a closet, just so you don't inadvertently get a pencil in there or something and snap a pin. I don't like the idea of exposed pins, period. So it'd just be nice, like a cheap plastic cap to just, because again, it ships with a sticker, and with just about as much effort, you could have the factory slide a protective cap on, reusable cap, and just keep those pins safe. But that's about it. That's all the negative I have to say. Overall, this is a fantastic wheel. I'm just coming up doing my review of the Moza Racing R12. Absolutely phenomenal wheelbase, and this is a phenomenal wheel to go with it. Do I like this as much as my FSR or GS? No, not quite. Stylistically, I like this more, but in terms of the overall features, I do prefer my GS or FSR a little bit more. But as far as sort of a mid-tier wheel, which is where I had hoped Moza would go, instead of having the $500 wheels and then jumping down to the, you know, $200-ish wheels, I hope they had put something in the middle, and this is it. And it's a very, very solid offering. I can't imagine too many people being unhappy with this, honestly. It's a really, really great wheel. Lots of features, lots of value, and Moza Racing, again, does a nice job with it. So thank you to Moza Racing for sending me this for review. And thank you guys for watching.